Alright, yeah, so 2020 back again, trying to finish off this Unite the Right video. This is, I think, is what, part 4, I don't know. My battery ran out on that one. I will get better with the video, I promise. It's getting better each time, so. Anyhow, again, watch the previous videos on the Unite the Right rally I posted, and take a look at the introductory videos so you can learn a little bit about me and my background and what I'm about. Anyway, so we're getting to the parking garage. I'll kind of back up a little bit from the last video, but maybe at some point I'll connect all these together. I'm learning. We're getting to the parking garage. DeAndre Harris, Cory Long, a couple other guys. You can look at the other video to kind of see more about that. They'll get into the parking garage. They're following these Unite the Right guys. Unite the Right guys get to the parking garage. It appeared to me that they felt like they were cornered and turned around at that point. At that point, there were not the white supremacists that you see the big video beating DeAndre Harris. They were not involved in this at this point. They were in front of the police station, hanging out. Okay. So they're going down the street. Unite the Right guys in the front. DeAndre Harris and friends are behind them, threatening him, asking him to fight with them. I gotta tell you right now, what upsets me about this whole thing with DeAndre Harris is, he interviewed with the media and told the media he was just hanging out with his friends, minding his own business. You look at some other videos, you see him burning flags and protesting in front of Unite the Right at the entrance. And he taunted them for him and his friends taunted them for 2 blocks. And so anyway, they got the parking garage. Unite the Right guy turned around. Cory or DeAndre Harris was shouting, I want to say, come on nigga, but I think it was, might have been, you want some of this nigga? You want some of this nigga? You want some of this nigga? To this Unite the Right guy. And the Unite the Right guy, he was cornered, turned around, and he used his flag to protect himself. And the guy in the pink shirt, which I'm sure he's probably going to be arrested at some point here, started beating the guy with a stick. You can see that in my video, in my photos. DeAndre Harris swung at him and hit him. People are saying he didn't make contact with him. He may have not at that specific second hit him in the face, but you can see him making contact with his body. DeAndre Harris was also holding the flagpole, pulling the guy towards the other guys who were beating on him too. And then at that point, still the white supremacists hadn't come in yet. Or this other group that you see beating them up that come in yet. And so DeAndre Harris gets pushed down. The Unite the Right guy with the flag gets pulled out because he's injured. He's injured. He gets pulled out by Antifa and a couple Antifa members. I have photos of this. He gets pulled out by them, injured, can barely stand, gets pulled away from that situation. As he's getting pulled out, and my photos show DeAndre Harris after he tripped and fell on the ground. You can see his feet and legs there and stuff. The white supremacist guys, I guess the white supremacists, they look like it, come in, DeAndre Harris gets up, goes across the other side of one of the medians where the toll is for the parking garage, and the Unite the Right guys jump on him, protecting these other Unite the Right guy who was getting beat up, and start beating on DeAndre Harris. I did not hear this, but you can see this in other videos as well. So I want to make sure you guys understand what I saw and what I didn't saw. Most I'm saying what I saw and what I photographed. This I did not see, but you can see in other videos the guy saying, okay, that's enough, that's enough. So they backed off. DeAndre Harris was beat up, bleeding, and he ended up going to the stairwell of the parking garage. And at that time, I don't know who was in there with him, but what I saw on the outside was there was a photographer or two. There were just some kind of, just looked like just regular people, blocking the entrance to the bottom of the stairwell, not in the stairwell but outside, which I guess is where DeAndre was. That is where DeAndre was. I don't know if he was outside or inside the stairwell or what. But you also see these Unite Right guys who appear to be KKK members. I'm not sure who they are, but they're pretty hardcore guys. Also with their shields up, blocking people from, not blocking, they weren't blocking people from getting to DeAndre Harris, but they were standing there with their shields, and they were in other areas. I believe what they were doing. I don't know if this was a fact, but I do believe what they were doing is just trying to eliminate the violence and from people not going in there, because from violent people from going in there. Because, as I said, you can see in other videos that they clearly were like, stop. Things got out of hand, so they were like, stop, let them go, let them up. And then, I do have a video of a real tall guy, black guy, in a gray t-shirt, who was a part of this original attack on the Unite the Right guy, going off, like blaming other people for what happened. Then they brought Cory, they brought DeAndre Harris across the street, where I have photos of Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and maybe a couple of his friends or whoever he was with there. Brought him across the street to the entrance of 29 News and to that vestibule, I guess you would say, that they have, and with columns, and they were telling people not to bring the police over and not to bring any help over for DeAndre. I have that in video. And then they started doing, I wasn't familiar with this, I guess this is a thing now, is to do this hands up, don't shoot. That's what they're doing there. Hands up, don't shoot, don't shoot, don't shoot. And it's like, who the fuck's gonna shoot you? I don't know, I just thought that was stupid. Anyway, again, that's opinion. They were keeping anybody away from helping him at that point. And then a bystander went and got the police to come over, and they were doing that don't shoot thing. It's just stupid. And at that point, I heard there's a fight on Fifth Street. So of course I went to head over to Fifth Street. And now I eventually left. I will tell you what the police were doing. I will tell you that, what I saw was a typical street fight. Somebody threatened somebody else. DeAndre Harris was the big mouth. Threatened these guys. They got in a fight, and DeAndre got beat up. You know what happened? You know, well, I think I pretty much thoroughly described. You know, these white supremacists weren't involved until their friend was. They saw that their friend had gotten beat up and was getting pulled out, and then they went in. And that's what happened. You know, you can see in my videos, you can see in my photos, you can see it in other videos too. But you know, it's important to put all these things together and not just look at one snippet that was pulled out. You know, showing somebody hitting somebody, or showing, okay, these guys are in the garage, got DeAndre Harris on the ground, kicking them and stuff. That's just a very small part of that whole incident. The police, to tell you what the police were doing, try to sum this up before we get finished off. What the police were doing, okay, so the police department's right next to the parking garage on the east side. And the police department, there's some frontage on the street, but on that corner there, it's an L. And the corner's open and there's an L. Actually, you can see in my photos, people were looking down that street. I guess that's 4th Street there. People were looking down that street at something else that was going on. Police were looking down that street at something else going on. Even the police were lined up against the wall outside the police department, protecting the police department. And if you look on Google Earth, this will be obvious to you. The police who were lined up in front of the police station had no view whatsoever of this fight that was going on inside the garage. All they knew was there was ruckus going on in the street. Oh, there's ruckus going on in the street everywhere. Okay, that's the Charlottesville police. And then there's the state police. There are 4 or 5 state police in riot gear at the west end of the parking garage. They had to have known what was going on in the parking garage. There was only 5 of them at this at this point, and they weren't really looking in the parking garage so much. It was dark in there, but not to make any excuses, but what it appeared to me that they were doing was keeping the violence contained and keeping the people who were not involved in that violence safe and away from that violence. They were forming a line. People were coming down Market Street. When they got to the state police, they had to go on the other side of the street from the parking garage in order to get by the parking garage. So that's why in a lot of videos you see people on one side of the parking garage, you know, and not really out so much. You know, there were people in front of the parking garage, but not a lot. You know, you had to go around the state police and go around to this side to get to where the fighting was going on. And so what happened with the state police, the riot police, there were a few of them there. They appear to be keeping the nonviolent people away from the violence. People can spin that however they want. That's what I saw. And they called for reinforcements. The reinforcements got there with a like a camo armored vehicle. State police came out of the vehicle. I can't say they were state police. It might have been National Guard, but the vehicle was a state police vehicle. It said state police on it. Didn't see identification on the people who came out of that vehicle. And and then there's another huge. I have pictures of this huge squad of riot police filled all of 5th Street, just coming down the whole street. I took some pictures. It was pretty like wow kind of thing. And so when the reinforcements came, they went into the garage, cleared the garage. A lot of Unite the Right guys went up the stairs and went up to the top floor of the parking garage to get away from the mob, protesters. And so they were up on top of the parking garage. the riot police swept through the parking lot garage and cleared everybody out there and went to the roof. At that time, I think they kept the Unite the Right guys up on the roof until things calmed down, but I don't know that for sure. But from things I've been able to piece together, when they cleared the garage, that's what happened. So that's my experience, at the Unite the Right rally, and it is what it is. There's a lot of slanted stuff out there. There's a lot of messed up, media reporting about snippets of videos here and there. Being dramatic about one thing and not mentioning other things. I get really upset when I see things like BET pushing this stuff, The Root pushing this stuff, and it really caused a frenzy of people getting a misunderstanding for what happened. And it really upset me. And when I saw that DeAndre Harris video that Monday morning, and then recently, now that people, DeAndre has been arrested, Cory Long's been arrested. I imagine there's going to be a couple more arrests. It's coming out, this thing's resurfacing again, and people are just like covering what they want to cover and covering just what they want to show. It's a brutal video of DeAndre Harris getting beat up, but the United Right guys did call them off, and it's been my experience, if you start a fight, you need to be ready to get your ass whooped, that's just the way it is, I've seen some other, black reporters on web saying, well, if these guys are going to do that, they need to be carrying weapons and stuff to protect themselves. That's not the right way to go, man. I can understand DeAndre Harris and his guys being upset about KKK being stuff, being in town. But where were they at the KKK rally? Where there were just KKK people there. They weren't there. It just really upsets me that, it's so, local media or not all, the media is just showing whatever supports their views and not showing everything. So I've right here, tried to show my best about what I saw and what I experienced, and it is what it is. Again, I'm not somebody. On either side, I used to feel like I was extremely liberal as far as my views go, and somewhat conservative about financial spending. Although regulations are pollution regulations and so forth are very important to me. Although that costs industries money. But now at this point, several years ago, I decided I was independent. Now at this point, I guess I'm independent. I'm me. I'm not on any side. I just see what I see and want to continue to report on current events for you guys and show the entire thing. I have submitted UVA Archives will be releasing all my photos unedited. FBI has my photos and videos, and Hutton, who's doing the third party, I don't know if you can call it an investigation, but report on what happened in Charlottesville. They have all my stuff, and some other people have my stuff.